within the first 10 minutes, it was like 10 pounds of stress lifted off my shoulders. There is so much work and stress and things that go on to make these things happen behind the scenes. And today was one of those days. I had kind of lost track of my why. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cheer Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cotton, and today we are talking about why it is so important that you don't forget your why. Now, before we get into the episode, please head on over to Cheer Gym Owners on Facebook or All-Star Cheer Coaches and Owners and join those groups. Those are our next-gen groups where we have some amazing conversations going on, all sorts of great collaboration, and really, really good ideas that are absolutely free. I get on there and try and comment on people's posts as well to help you with your questions, even if you're not one of the members of our Next Generation Gym Owners Academy. If you're interested in learning more about the Academy, head on over to nextgenowners.com where you can check out what it is we do and how we help business owners just like you grow their gyms into the gym that they want it to be. We also are doing our Cheer Biz accelerators, which I am super excited about. The first one is going to be hosted at my brand new facility in Beaverton, well, actually in Tigard, Oregon, in October. I'm super pumped to welcome about 10 to 15 gym owners out to my gym to really dive into their businesses and show them how we run things here at ODT. So if you're interested in that, you've got to come check it out. Now, before we go any further, I've got to talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, I am wearing a tank top. If you are watching this as a reel or you're watching it on YouTube, it's probably never going to get posted as a reel because I'm wearing a tank top, and Danielle hates when I wear tank tops, but it is Dream Camps season, and that means the tank tops are out because we are in the gym working hard and sweating and doing all that stuff, and this is what my staff wears for our apparel. So it is tank top season, and that means you might see a couple podcasts with me in a tank top. So sorry about that, Danielle. You're my best friend, but I'm still wearing my tank top. Now, let's get into the episode, which is why you should never forget your why and some of the things I think that are important that go along with it. The reason I'm talking about this is actually, I had not planned this episode at all. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my day, and it might start to make sense. So we are, like I said, we're currently at Dream Camps time, and I talk about Dream Camps a lot. It's one of my favorite times of year. I am very busy. There is a lot going on, but I get the opportunity to travel the country and to host events where I meet thousands of cheerleaders and get to provide an opportunity to share this sport that I love so much with athletes and with coaches and people I care for and help them with their gyms and help them with their skills on the mat. It is a really amazing time of year. I also get to be with my Dream Camp staff, which is my kind of third family. And many of these individuals are people who I've either coached at some point or I've met through working for me in the summers and are people that I just truly love and adore. And so it is a little bit of a reunion every summer. I get to see all of these people, and it's something that I really, really enjoy. On the flip side, there is so much work and stress and things that go on to make these things happen behind the scenes. And today was one of those days. Today was one of those days where it actually should have been a relatively laid back day. We were doing a youth commuter camp, and our individual camp had just started. And the individual camps don't need a lot of attention from me. They're pretty well structured. We've been doing them for a long time, and they don't have as many moving parts as like our team camps do. They follow the same kind of regimen, and they work really well. For me, I was thinking today was going to be a pretty easy day, and I had a couple administrative things to do. I had a meeting scheduled to work on our new payroll system because I was transitioning over to a new payroll provider, and it was anything but stress-free. Like, it was just one of those days where every single thing created a roadblock. And I found myself going from planning to do a little bit of administrative work and then spending the rest of the time in the gym and helping my staff and working with athletes to being a day where I spent the entire time from the moment I got over to our training space to the moment I left to come over to ODT to record podcasts, working on admin tasks and things that I absolutely positively don't enjoy doing. I found myself very frustrated. I was not in a good mood. I was driving over here. I was sending Tori some voice notes of like, I'm so frustrated with this and I'm frustrated with that. And this didn't work and that didn't work. And I was in that moment and it wasn't good. And one of the things I was coming over here to do was a couple private lessons that were scheduled. And this was an error. They weren't supposed to be open on the calendar, but they ended up being open. Someone had to do it. So I was like, I'll just go do them. I have to record some podcasts. And I was super frustrated that I was going to be busy and have to record the podcasts. And I was going to be delayed on that. And I was letting myself get into all those moments. And the first lesson showed up, and these were both people I'd never met. The first one showed up, and she was a dancer looking to work on some of her acro skills. And I don't work a lot with dancers. I have in the past. And I found myself as I was coaching and working with the athlete, like within the first 10 minutes, it was like 10 pounds of stress lifted off my shoulders. As I was going through and I started the next lesson and I was doing the sales process, and I was like, oh, this feels good. Like, this feels really good to do the thing that I love about this. And I had kind of lost track of my why, of what it is that this is all about. And I'm in a better mood now. So you're not hearing as much like desperation and frustration as I felt before, but like truly knowing and remembering why you do it. What is the reason that you own your business? What are the things that excite you? And I think I missed it and I lost sight of it because of all of the moving pieces. And I love to talk about business. You guys, you know, I love to talk about business. That's what I do on the podcast. But I love everything about entrepreneurship most of the time, even though it's really, really hard. But even our first week of camp, I found myself a couple different times being like, man, you're not even enjoying this. And it was because we were running the biggest camp we'd ever run. We had 320 all-star kids from various programs, to include my own, 50 plus individual kids. There was like almost 400 people in the gym at a time, training and learning and super excited, but I couldn't even enjoy it because I couldn't spend time with my own athletes. I was running around doing various administrative tasks. And I was like, this sucks. I'm not having any fun. That is the life of an entrepreneur sometimes, but it's always good to find that way to remember your why. And so the things that I want to encourage you to do is, number one, if you don't know your whys, like if you've never really thought about why is it that I do these things? What is the reason that I get out of bed in the morning willing to do really hard work, and you haven't kind of figured those things out, I would encourage you to reflect. I would encourage you to take some time and write down those things that you do in your life that you love. Even if you haven't done them for a long time, what are those things that fire you up, that bring you joy and happiness and excitement? Find those things, know what they are. And even if it is something that you haven't done for a while, put it on a goal to go and do that thing. As I'm talking about this, I know one of the things I need to do is I need to get back to training jujitsu, because I was really into it for a little while and then my body kind of got beat up and then I got busy, and you can always have excuses not to get certain things done. But you will find yourself more rewarded and more fulfilled if you actually prioritize those things. So make sure you're writing down your whys. And your whys sometimes can lead to frustration, which is kind of the number two, is know your why and realize that just because you have it doesn't mean that the hard things aren't going to come. And so I say this because one of my whys is for my staff. I work as hard as I do. I do the things as the way I do. I pay my staff the way I do. I do the things that I do, especially with my companies. I do those things because I care so very deeply about my staff. And so today, in the process of handling all this payroll stuff, I was encountering roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And I was really, really frustrated because I'm like, this is going to impact my people who rely on me to pay them on time. And right now, I have my new payroll provider getting things wrong on the final calculations. And on top of that, then having my authorized withdrawal amounts too low. So now you're creating all these roadblocks. And all I want to do is pay my staff, my amazing, wonderful staff who work so hard for me. So I'm frustrated by this. It's easy to live in the moment and be angry and frustrated, but to remember your why and go, but the reason I'm frustrated is because I care for these people. And sometimes I find that for me, that brings me down a little level. And it reminds me of the reason I am feeling these feelings and the reason I'm reacting potentially this way is because of that thing, that why, these people that I care for. And I think that is always good to stay focused on the why, because if you find yourself frustrated, exhausted, stressed, and you go, what is the why here? And you're having a real hard time searching for how it correlates to those things that you wrote down as your real whys, then maybe it's not worth being stressed out about. Maybe it's not as big of a deal as you're making it out to be in your head. Because we as entrepreneurs can always find fires to put out and emergencies that are happening and things that only we can handle. I am so guilty of this, you guys. So guilty. Okay. So just remember to, if it feels like a big deal and it doesn't tie directly back to your why, then you're missing the mark. My number 3 is, once you've remembered your why and you know what they are and you know why those things are important, what I really, really want you to do is I want you to spend some time doing that thing. Find the whys that you can engage in again. Find the things that light you up and fire you up in your whys, your reasons for getting out of bed in the morning. And a lot of you listening to this, if you're a parent, you're probably going to say, well, one of my whys is my kids. One of my whys is making them happy and spending time with them. And then my secondary question for you, which is me looking in the mirror, is when was the last time you spent a significant amount of time with your kids? Your kids care much more about the quality of time with you than the quantity, but having a consistent presence with you in their life does make a difference. And this is something that I've been really trying to do better of. I spend more time with my daughter than I do my sons because my daughter cheers. So she's at the gym and we have drives and things like that. Now she's on my team, so I spend even more time with her. But even then, I still only see her so much. And my sons, I spend even less time with because they don't cheer. Now they tumble at the gym. I'm having them come in and work on things, and they help around the gym, and that's helped with our relationships and being able to have time together. But one of the things I started this summer was taking them to the Planet Fitness. Yes, it's a low quality weight gym when you look at like purists, but it has everything they need. And it's reasonably priced, and they have a summer pass. And like, if I can introduce and share the love of fitness with my sons, and we can do it together and I can teach them together, that's something that I never actually had from my dad, who was amazing, but we never lifted together or worked out together. That wasn't our relationship, but it's something that I value. I value fitness. And so I want to share that with my sons. And it's a great opportunity to do something that I love. One of my whys is being fit and working out and exercising, and sharing that with my 2 boys, which is another one of my whys. So it's a really cool opportunity. So find ways to encounter those into your life, and just always remember your why. Always go back to why it is that you do the things that you do. I talk to so many entrepreneurs who are like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I don't know if I have it left in me. And sometimes they're right, because the why is not worth it. Being a business owner, for those of you listening, it's not for everyone. It is quite literally not for everyone to own a business. Not everyone is capable of it, just like not everyone is capable of being a point guard for the NBA. I was never in my future. There are all sorts of factors that weigh in. It's not meant for everyone. Being an entrepreneur is like chewing on glass, staring into the abyss, and waking up every morning and doing it again sometimes. Like it is very, very mentally and emotionally fatiguing. But the reward is so worth it if you're focused on the correct whys. If you're not focused on the correct whys, it is very, very easy to get lost. So that's why I think it is so important to remember what yours are and stay focused on them. All right, everyone. I know this was more of a soul episode, a feelings episode. There wasn't as much tactics and strategy, and I apologize for that. This was a complete and total pivot from what I was initially going to talk about. But quite literally, I just got done with a private lesson with an athlete, and I was like, man, I forgot how much I love coaching because I haven't been doing it. I've been doing all the admin stuff. And I have been, like, when I travel and work, do private camps, but it's been almost a month since I've been working with athletes directly. And it was just like, man, this is so much fun. Watching the joy and the excitement when something clicks for a kiddo is just the coolest thing in the world. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I appreciate your time. I am getting ready to head back to camp, although I'm probably going to record one more episode before I do, because I want to make sure you guys have your Saturday episode. So thank you for listening. And with that, we'll catch you on the next episode.